Abaca the alphabet alliteration. Abaca accessories for admiration. Bamboo's pumping, barefoot bounding. Kinetic Cali combat, boom boom powing. Digitally documenting, diving in the deep, eating everywhere, even on the street. Galleries, graffiti, and cows for the gram. Hand-weaving heritage with hometown hands. Island fortresses, illuminated lands. Lakeside living with locals and lilies. Mountain rides made with the Ifugao markings. Nocturnal nightlife, neon navigating. Umid and umid, that means keep on smiling. Oratories, officers, old world magic. Photos and prints from pineapple fabric. Rondalia rhythms, riffing on raps. Sunset street dancing, Sampaguita craft. Tribal tattoos in traditional ways. Ultimate underground untouched caves. Wild, wide, warm, welcomes await for you, and yes, you too. Be part of the tradition, the celebration, and the culture. Be part of the fun.
The Philippines is an archipelago found in Southeast Asia, comprised of more than 7,000 islands dotting the Pacific Ocean. With its long coastline, the Philippines is gifted with stretches of pristine white sand beaches surrounded by crystal clear waters. In fact, several Philippine islands and beaches like Boracay, Palawan, and Siargao have been constantly named as the best in the world by major travel publications. But there's more to the Philippines than just being idyllic tropical destinations for island hopping getaways and beach adventures. Did you know that 75% of the foreigners who traveled in the Philippines fell in love with the country because of its people? Filipinos had a unique and beautiful characters that has been appreciated all over the world. As Ms. Colleen Garcia said, one single Filipino can bring a difference. The question is, what are the strengths and weaknesses of a Filipino character? An iconic image in Filipino culture is a traditional house borne upon the shoulders of community members, transferred from one location to the next. It is a customary practice where people come together in times of need, and people call it community spirit. Filipinos call it bayanihan. This practice is found in many cultures around the world. Norwegians called it dugnad. Finnish called it tokut. Mexican tikiyo. Indonesians gotong goyo. During the pandemic, bayanihan and its many iterations has kept our spirits alive. It is manifest to people's support, compassion, and kindness. Volunteers and organizations helping the frontliners, ordinary citizens raising funds for the less privileged, and creative industry contributed their talents. These are just a few examples of bayanihan. Because bayanihan is built in the most sincere act of generosity, people expect nothing back in return. Family orientations. Filipinos possesses a genuine and deep love for the family, which includes not simply the spouses and children, parents and siblings, but also godparents, aunts, uncle, cousins, godparents, and other ceremonial relatives. To the Filipino, one family is the source of personal identity, the source of emotional and material support, and person's main commitment and responsibility. Concern for family is manifested in the honor and respect given to parents and elders, in the care given to children, and generosity towards skin in need, and in great sacrifice one endures for the welfare of the family. This sense of family results in a feeling of belongingness or rootedness in a basic sense of security. Joy and humor. Filipinos have a cheerful and fun-loving approach to life and its ups and downs. There is a pleasant disposition and a sense of humor and propensity of happiness that contributes not only to the Filipino charm, but to the indomitability of the Filipino spirit. Laughing at ourselves and our trouble is an important coping mechanism. Often playful, sometimes cynical, sometimes disrespectful, but we laugh at those we love and those we hate, and make jokes about our fortune, whether it's good or bad. This sense of joy and humor is manifested in the Filipino love for social and celebration, in our capacity to laugh even in the most trying times, and in the appeal of political satire. The result is a certain emotional balance and optimism, a healthy, respectful for power and office, and a capacity to survive. Flexibility, adaptability, and creativity. Filipinos have a great capacity to adjust and to adapt to circumstances and to the surrounding environment, both physical and social. Unplanned or anticipated events are never overly disturbing or disorienting as a flexible Filipino adjusts to whatever happens. He possesses a tolerance for ambiguity that enable us to remain unfazed by uncertainty or lack of information. We are creative, resourceful, and we adapt to learning and able to improvise and make use of whatever is at hand in order to create and produce. This quality of the Filipino is manifested in the ability to adapt to life in any part of the world, and an ability to make new things out of scrap and to keep old machines running, and of course in the creative talent manifested in the cultural sphere. Hard work and industry. Filipinos have the capacity for hard work given proper conditions, the desire to raise one's standards of living and to possess the essentials of a decent life for one's family, combined with the right opportunities and incentives, stimulate the Filipino to work very hard. This is manifested most noticeably in a willingness to take risks with jobs abroad, and to work there for 2 or 3 jobs. The result productivity and entrepreneurship for some and survival despite poverty of others. Faith and religiosity. Filipinos have deep faith in God. Innate religiosity enables us to comprehend and genuinely accept reality in the context of God's will and plan. Thus, tragedy and bad fortune are accepted, and some optimism characterizes even the poorest lives. Filipinos live very intimately with religion. This is a tangible part for our daily lives. We ascribe human traits to a supernatural God whom we alternately frighten and thank, call upon for mercy or forgiveness, and a peace of pledges. Prayer is an important part of our lives. The faith of Filipino is related to Bahal na, which instead of viewing a deficit resignation may be considered positively as a reservoir of psychic energy, an important physiological support on which we can lean during difficult times. This pampalakas ng loob allows us to act despite uncertainty. Ability to survive. Filipinos have an ability to survive which is manifested in our capacity for endurance despite difficult times, and in our ability to get by on so little. Filipinos make do what is available in the environment. For example, by eking out living from a garbage dump. This survival instinct is related to the Filipino who bravely carry on through the harshest economic and social circumstances. Regretfully, no wonder what we might be able to do under better circumstances. Extreme personalism. Filipinos view the world in terms of personal relationship and the extent to which one is able to personally relate things and people determines our recognition to their existence and values. There is no separation between an objective task and emotional involvement. This personalism is manifested in the tendency to give personal interpretations to actions, like take things personally. Thus, a sincere question may be viewed as a challenge to one's competence, or positive feedback may be interpreted as a sign of special affection. Extreme family-centeredness. While concern for the family is one of the Filipinos' greatest strengths, in the extreme it becomes a serious flaw. Excessive concern for the family creates an in-group to which Filipino is firstly loyal to the detriment of concern for the larger community or the common good. Excessive concern for family manifests itself in the use of one's office and is powerful as means of promoting the interest in the family, in the functionalism, patronage, political dynasties, and in the protection of erring family members. This results in a lack of concern for the common good and acts as a block of national consciousness. Lack of discipline. The Filipinos' lack of discipline encompasses several related characteristics. We have a casual and relaxed attitudes towards time and space, which manifests itself in a lack of precision and compulsiveness, in poor time management, and in procrastination. We have an aversion of the following strictly a set of procedures, which results in lack of standardizations and quality control. We are impatient and unable to delay gratification or reward, resulting in the use of shortcuts, skirting the rules or mga polished syndromes, and in foolish hardiness. We are guilty of ningaskugon, or starting out projects with pull by core and interest which abruptly die down, leaving things unfinished. Our lack of discipline often results in an inefficient and wasteful work system, the violation of rules leading to more serious transgressions, and a casual work ethic leading to careless and lack of flow-through. Passive and lack of initiative. Filipinos are generally passive and lacking in initiative. One waits to be told what has to be done. There is also a strong reliance to others, like say for example the leaders in the government. We tend to believe that they will do things for us. Filipinos tend to be complacent and there rarely is a sense of urgency about any problem. There is a high tolerance of inefficiency, poor service, and even violations of one's basic rights. In many ways, it can be said that Filipino is too patient and long-suffering, or what we call matiisin, too easily resigned to one's fate. Filipinos are thus easily oppressed and exploited. Colonial mentality. Filipinos have a colonial mentality which is made up of two dimensions. The first is a lack of patriotism, or the active awareness, appreciation, and love of the Philippines. The second is the actual preference for the things foreign. Filipinos have a selfish, self-serving attitude that generates a feeling of envy and competitiveness compared to others, particularly one's peers, who seems to have gained some status or prestige towards them. The Filipino demonstrated the so-called crab mentality, using the leveling instruments of chismis, intriga, and unconstructive criticisms to bring others down. Lack of self-analysis and self-reflection. There is a tendency in every Filipino to be superficial and even somewhat guilty. In the face of serious problems, both personal and social, there is a lack of analysis or reflection. Joking about the most serious matters prevent us from looking deeply into the problem. There is no felt need to be validate or hypothesis or explanation of things. Thus, we are satisfied with superficial explanation for and superficial solutions to in every problem. Related to this, the Filipino emphasis on a form of forma rather than substance. There is a tendency to be satisfied of rhetoric and to substitute this to reality. And that's it for today, guys. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Bye.